Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange. And today we're going to finish off our snowballs. And boy, am I excited about that. I've learned a lot about the way I paint, actually, from painting these snowballs. And I'll share some of that with you. So let me show you what I've learned. This is my finished plate, finished bowl. Now, one of the things I don't like about it that I thought I would like about it is the darkness here and here. It's kind of like a little too dark for me now that I see it, but it wasn't at the time that I painted it. And I've got to get a little closer so you can see what I mean. But I do like the darker color on the rim. Now, this shadow in here that I was telling you I don't like was all done with blue-black. And of course, that's my favorite, but I think I should have stuck more to the greens to keep it a little bit lighter. Now, this is the piece that I just did. This is the second fire. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm almost thinking I should leave it, but it's awfully pale down in here. And I would like a little more depth. I'm kind of happy with some of these, but not all of them. And I'm going to use something a little bit different, maybe this time, just to give it a little color and what have you. So yeah, I did learn a lot. Oh, and the shadow leaves. Aren't they beautiful? I think they made the piece. So those are things that I learned myself. Colors for today have not changed. In fact, I'm probably only using a couple, but I still have on here the baby blue and the blue-black, and then shading green. I have, that's a dark green. It's a dark green that I kind of like, and I was going to use, but I don't know if I'll use it so much now. This is the chartreuse and the moss, and then I have, of course, my berry. I'm going to be using, for the background brush, I'm going to be using this monster brush that I have. It's size 16, and it's from Barbara Jensen, and it's German, and it has really nice, I don't know if you can see, but the hair on that is beautiful. It's an animal hair of some sort. And it makes the difference, I think, when you're painting, if you have really good brushes. So if you've bought some and they aren't good and you know you're going to stick with it and you're going to any of these shows that are coming up, I think that might be a good opportunity for you to do some of that and, get a chance to really be involved with getting some decent brushes there. Okay. I'm going to try it different. I'm going to try now this is the green and this is the green. This is the shading green, and I just want a little on here, maybe put a little down here. Now that does seem to help, doesn't it? I'm trying not to make too much of a disaster here. I really want it to turn out pretty for me. Now up here I've got a lot of purples, and I think I'm going to try some green in there because it really needs to be, this leaf needs to be tucked behind this leaf, as you can see there. I'm going to try the shading green. We'll see. I almost think it has too much blue in it for up there. Let me try the darker green. Yeah, I think that's a little better. And you want to pull it down into the flower below, because you want to make sure that you can take the time to actually create something. See, I'm just going to put it on the underside there. I'm trying to do it very lightly because I think the thing I did the last time, this brush is too large. Can you see how it's too large? It went too far for me. I don't want it going that far. So I'm going to get a size 10, same kind of brush, and I'm going to try that up here to see if I can. And then we're going to put a little up in here just to attach it to that top part. Okay, through the center. There we go. I'm just going to leave it kind of messy. I don't mind it being messy. And then this guy down in here, I really want it dark, so I'm using my dark green, which is very similar to the other, the shading green. It just doesn't have quite as much blue in it. And I'm just going around here, need a little more oil, just to kind of lift up that, that little white one down there. I hope many of you have tried this. It's a really fun flower to paint. And I'm going to turn it around, and hopefully you can see it. I'm going to come up this way a little bit. And just get the top of it there. You know what? I think I need a little on the top here. I don't need much. And I'm going to take a little blue and put over here. Oops, hang on. A little too much. Now I'm back to the the shading green, and I'm just putting it around the snowball. And see, like there, I think the snowball came up. Oops, let me add a little more here. Came up a little too much. So if you do it right, you can shape your snowball considerably. I'm just going around the edges a little bit just to highlight them, because I'm going to make the background darker, and that's why the edges, I think, just need a little bit of tender loving care here. Okay, I still don't like this edge here, so to add in my veins like this is what I was trying to do, and I got a little off the mark. So if you do, just take your Q-tip. Nothing is ever irreversible. You can always fix whatever you do, whatever mistakes you might make on china, you can always fix. To some degree, I should say. I like that green. I'm going to put just a little down in here too. Oops, come here. I'll flip it. Oh, too much on here. I'll flip it over. There we go. There we go. Okay. Nice. Fun. I'm not going to really touch my snowballs. I kind of like them. I also like the depth that I have in there. So now I'm just going to do the background here. I'm not going to touch much of this down here because I love it. I love those shadow leaves. But I am going to do a little up in here. So see what I'm doing? I'm just taking the color and I'm adding it kind of lightly, trying not to destroy what I just did. Now you could put the color in first, but I did it second because I wanted to see what colors I would end up using on the leaves, because I always tend to use something that's a little bit different than what I thought I would use. And I'm holding the brush by the very tip so that I can really get more on here. Okay. Alrighty, so that's what I do. And then I'm just making it a little darker because I think I like it a little bit darker than what I had it. It was a little too light for me. Now, when you're doing a background, it's important to keep your oil on your brush, but not so much oil on your brush. What I would suggest is, we haven't talked much about the towel, but the towel that you use is really important. If you take, this is my bottle, and you dip your brush in, and you only dip like, I don't know, I can't hold it on an angle and let you see, but it's like that much. Just the tip of it gets wet. Okay? Then you press it on here with your finger really good. Now I know I've got paint on there, but you see how much came off. Then you can go back and paint. And I think that you will find that it does a little better job for you. And try to keep the oil fairly, you know, on there fairly oily, not oily. That's a bad word. Try to keep it oiled, but just ever so slightly, just enough so that the paint moves with the brush. That's all you're looking for. You're not looking to drown this. And now, right now, if I go over the edge, that's fine, because I can come back and do the edge with my finger and clean that all up. So I'm just going in here and adding a little more color. Oh, don't forget to go, see in here, you have to go behind here, because that's where you would see through, okay? And then I'm still just doing this. Okay, let's move it along here. Quit the chit-chat, move it along. Now I'm out there where I don't have to get around anything, and it makes it a lot easier. When you're out like this, I kind of put some color on, and then I blend it. And I think the reason I do this, and I know most teachers don't, is because I find that it gives me a better sense of what it's going to look like when it's done. If I get that color on and I look at it and I go, oh, ha, 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 no, don't like that at all, then I can take it off before I spend all the time trying to get everything nice and smooth and what have you. So that's why I do it. But everybody has their own technique, I think, for doing backgrounds, but this is mine. I just kind of slobber it on and then deal with it. Now, for me, when I go around to keep it from going into the middle, I kind of go like this and just do the edge like this, C-strokes, and then I kind of just go out a little bit with my brush so that the color goes out just a little bit, but I don't want it all the way out there. Does that make sense? Okay, and this guy has no shading at all, and he doesn't really, I would like to put him more in the background. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try putting this all over him and seeing if that helps, and then just patting off some of it. I've got a glare there. I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, I've got windows right here, and sometimes I get a glare. Oh, now I'm going to pat here, and I'm going to pat a little down here, and just get off some of that color. But I want it to sort of blend into the background better. I don't want it to stick out like a sore thumb, so I think that helps. Okay, now we're going to go back over to this side and just finish out these leaves. I don't know how much those leaves need, because to me this is the focus part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of, now I'm side loading with, and I'm using my number 10, and I'm just side loading and just adding a little bit along the side here. And then I'm going to mix it with a little more blue up in here, because I have some blue now and I kind of like it. There we go. I want to put a little color on the very tip here. Come here, you. Oh, I'm way out. See, that's the problem here with the light in this room. When I get on top of things, I can see what I've done. Like here, I can see. I'm going into chartreuse now to do this, because I think it could use a little brightening. Now, I am using a little blue down here, because we're getting into that blue area down here, and I want to get a little blue down there. And I want to use, this is the blue-black, and I'm just going to use it up that side too, just a little. And I'm going to put it on here, and I'm just doing with the very tip side of my brush, the very tip on the side of my brush, I'm just doing these edges, because I think that when they show up, it kind of helps. Now I'm going to look at it. I'm going to pat them. I like them, but I think they're a little too loud for me, so that's a little better. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that green and just sort of put a little down in here to be consistent. Okay. Now these guys out here are another set of things that I just want to disappear into the background. I don't really want them to be so obvious. So I haven't done the red, the berry here yet. So as I do the berry, I think here I'm just going to really let it take over that one. This one, not so much. This one I think is kind of pretty. And I'm a little strong. I'm going to, when it's strong, you wipe it on your towel. You don't just say it's strong and leave it. I need a little more up in here. Okay. All right, now I'm patting my brush really, really well, and I'm going back and just, oops, here. I'm going back and I'm just I don't want to mess up what I've done. And if it's too dry, you can. So I'm just looking at where I think I could add a little, that needs a little more berry there. This brush tends to curve. I don't like that about it. But, there. Okay. And then I'm going to just go around and make sure that I've got, the further back you hold it, the better. I've got everything done. I want these guys to stand out a little here. There. And maybe a little over here. And then up in here, I feel like it's not smooth enough. Remember what we said about you go one direction for a while. If that doesn't work, turn it around. Like if you're going this way and it doesn't work, turn it around and go this way. I'm going to have to oil my brush and really pat the oil out of it because that's the problem I'm having. My brush is too dry. And that will also help. Ooh, big hairs there. That will also help make everything smoother. If you go one way, then you go the other. And then look here around the edge and make sure, like there are a couple places where I see that I've laid my hand or something. Okay. All right. Now there's one place that I want to add just a little depth. It's kind of right there. I don't want to wreck these guys. I love them. But I think it just needs a little more depth right here. I'm going to need a little more oil. And I'm using the blue because the blue-black is what's down there. I'm going to put a little blue over in here. I think I want more color out of that if I can get it. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I like the white on this, so I want to get a little more white out, especially on the side that has the light, you know. Maybe a little right there and a little there. Okay. And this little guy there's nothing on him that shows anymore, so I'm just going to pick a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Right up in here, I would like to add a little blue. There. The other thing you can do if you're really good at it is you can take the blue and just wipe it over something and it will recess it. You know, it'll recede it back on the page. It will look like it's further back. But yeah, no, I like this one too. A little too much there. Okay, oops, and there. Yeah, now last thing you do, you go around and you remove any paint that you have on the edge. Very important. I don't think I signed this one either, so I'm going to have to sign it. Did I sign the other one? Yeah, I did, but I didn't sign this one. So this is this one. So I guess if you really want to do a good job, and you're doing something for someone and you have an extra plate around, you might want to try doing it on one plate and then do it on another plate because you learn from the first plate all the errors that you made. And I went too dark. In fact, I went darker than this. So I went darker than this. And I'll tell you what I did. I took blue-black, and I kind of put it over the whole plate like a wash and pulled things out. That's what you saw last time, and I really didn't. I left it sit overnight, and when I came back in, I really didn't like it. And I don't think it added anything to the piece. But this other piece, I think I really got it pretty well, so I'm real pleased with it. I guess lesson from this is I learned that there's a definite balance between too dark and too light. And the other thing I learned is leave your stuff overnight and then fire it because it'll give you, oh, thank you. It'll give you a fresh perspective when you come back to it. Also take pictures. I took pictures of the regular, the deeper bowl, this one. I took pictures of it. And then I took pictures of it with the blue on it. And when I looked at the pictures, there was virtually no difference between the two, except it looked muddier. So that's another thing you can do that can help you decide whether or not you really need that extra fire or not. I'm big on doing too much and too dark. So, alrighty. Pick up those brushes, keep painting, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Program. And I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.